to talk about their experience in taking over these roles. And so, Jeff, that's right. Yeah. And so, so thank you for sticking around. I have a couple questions prepared, but also we will open up for a few audience questions, and we'll keep it to less than 30 minutes so that other events can go on. So the first question is to Mr. An Cooper. We really would like to know a little bit about how you came to the decision to put Red together for this particular season.
All right, I'll keep this brief because what's more important is that these guys share their views and their thoughts and feelings. That's the most important thing. These guys are amazing. I love them. This whole thing is incredible. This show is my baby. I've wanted to do this show for a long time for many reasons. I mean, the message is incredible. It's just as relevant when Jonathan Larson wrote it 20 years ago as it is today. A message of love and hope triumphs over everything. And I couldn't ask for a better cast to have done the show with. It's been an honor. So I'm going to give the mic to them.
Most important thing for all of us is for you to talk about your personal experience with the issues in the play and the process of becoming your character and how it personally impacted you this whole season of preparing for last night, tonight, and tomorrow. So, I don't know if your mic is...
Well, I won't make this very political because that's in poor taste, but we're in a time where we really need to just spread the love. That's the most important thing. I think all of us would agree with that, hopefully. But that's always that's been my goal. Like, I want people to come in here and, feel love and, like, enjoy the show and obviously, just accept one another. That's what theater is about, acceptance,
Pass it down to Colin.
I just want to share a quick thing. So we as a cast look for cool ways to bond during the show because the group as a whole is really, really the connection is really important. And a bunch of us spent a day in the city 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, something like that, at a rally in Washington Square Park. I was there too. It was just a rally about love, and it was people spreading these messages that were really prevalent in the show, just about it doesn't matter what's going on. If we spread the right messages and if we, think about all the good in the world, it'll really mean something. And so it was really interesting having what's going on in our time and being able to do this show. There's so many similarities, and being a part of that day in the city of Washington Square Park with 4,000 people who cared so much about love, just like the characters on this stage did, really brought it to life for us.
Personal experience and their, developing their character.
Hello. I guess it really hit me last night when Andy was balancing his heart out in there, and I was just like, oh my god, I love everyone so much. Yeah, but this whole experience, I think, just being backstage together and we kind of created this bond, this love. We weren't as close as we are now, definitely before, and I really made some great friends this year that I've been doing theater for 3 years, and I didn't know these people before, and I think that's so amazing. And I think that was really reflected in my character and our characters, in the way we leaned against each other on stage, hugged each other. It's evident that we really do love each other, and we love you guys, and that's amazing. So yeah.
Might have something to share, an unexpected realization, something interesting, something funny or strange that came about in the process of becoming your character.
I'll say one thing. What I really appreciate about this cast is that a lot of the cast members are playing characters that are very unlike themselves, and they took a lot of risks. And once you give someone permission just to open up and let go of all their fears and inhibitions and just really become the character, I think something beautiful happened with this entire cast. I have a very close friend in LA who's Donnie Bates, and I think about him when we do the show. And it's reasons like that that this show is so important. And these wonderful human beings here that I had the pleasure of working with understood that every day. And they gave their heart and soul for the message and for the meaning of the show. And they put it before everything else. And I think that's truly amazing.
Any questions from the audience? Anything that you would like to? Wait, Ms. Parker.
Thank you. My brother died of AIDS. He was gay 21 years ago. Before there was the cocktail, before there was any hope, we knew that he was going to die. It decimated the theater community. He was a sculptor. He lost a lot of actor friends. It was their Holocaust. And I think it's very important for people to be very aware of being there for each other and love unconditionally and accept. You did a fantastic job tonight.
Any other comments or questions from the audience?
My question is for Frank and Una as stage managers. Seeing the production from behind the scenes, what did you guys take out of the performance?
Wow, I'm not really used to talking. I'm usually hiding back there. But love you guys. But I guess what you really take away from it, because Frank and I were here for the whole rehearsal process, day one to day now, and you just kind of like, you watch the performance from a very different angle, and like, you know, when we present this show to you guys, it's like, wow, that was so cool, and like those lights, and like those actors, and that sound, and like everything, that's so amazing, but like, we really get to see what work went into that, both technically and from the rehearsals. Like, we see how everyone started, like, you know, maybe they were really struggling with this song, and now me and Frank really get to see them come here and be like, wow, like, that sounded so good tonight. Or, you know, we get to see this set when it was nothing but 2x4s, like a little skeleton frame, and now it's that, and it looks pretty cool. But yeah, Frank,
I just think it's really amazing to see how far everything has come in the process of the show. There you go. Like, I just think it's really amazing to see how far all the actors have come, because I was here from the first rehearsal, and I'm really proud of all of them and the crew, because you guys are awesome.
Any other?
There's one up there.
Doesn't work anymore. Okay.
Oh my God!
I think a lot of people could argue that as teens in 10 of Live, we're pretty far removed from the world of Rent and the situation that they were in. So how hard was it for you guys to identify with your characters?
Well, without a doubt, like it's not. Okay. Without a doubt, like we definitely can't relate on like that much of a level of how the characters in Red were. And I agree with AC said we're playing characters that are very different from ourselves, but I'd say most of the process of becoming our characters was done off the stage, like Colin said, going to the rallies, cast bonding, because although these characters are dying, they're suffering for so many parts of their life, they're together through thick and thin, and all they do is love, and that's what's most important. And that wasn't acting to us, this is all real, so in a way, it wasn't that difficult to do it. Of course, it took a lot of hard work, but by the end of the show, it was completely filled with passion, and it wasn't really hard to just love each other, because we're all good friends.
Oh, hi. In terms of character study, I mean, I'm already a narcissistic show-off, so there wasn't really much. In a lot of ways, my character I love Maureen so much. She's a mixture of everything I want to be and everything I'm really afraid of being, because she is confident and sexy, and she's just a fun person to be around that draws people in, but at the same time, she is a really dangerous and toxic person who cares only about herself. So there's a fine line there. And really, I just had to kind of play jump rope with it, and I thought that was really fun to be able to explore that on stage without anyone actually getting hurt, I hope.
I think, like, in theory, it's a lot difficult to wrap your mind around, but when we got the costumes, I looked at all the clothes and I was like, wait, I own all of this. And so, I was like, oh, stop, okay. So I was like, oh, this is me, and this is a reality that I can definitely empathize with, and I'm like, stepping into those shoes, quite literally, really helped me to grasp the character.
So I've never played a bad guy, and I guess for a lot of adults, I'm actually not the bad guy. You know? Okay, yeah. Well, no, Uncle Max is not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
Please, I have a point here. Okay, I'm just more guys who's bad, but I think if you take away Benny and you take away all the characters, we're one big cast, and that's something Mr. AC has been telling us for a while. Not any one of us is more important than the show, and I think when you strip it to the bare minimum, like Alika said, you know, all we have to do is love each other, and like in school, we're taught so much love. You know, just looking in the audience, half of my teachers are here. Mr. Crone, Senora Peme, you know, Mr. AC, like all of these teachers, all they do is like, yeah, they teach us stuff, and yeah, we're supposed to learn. But more importantly, you just have to be like good people. You know, learning how to fight for my rights, and learn the law, and learn how to communicate in other languages. And I try. You know? But it's really not hard when we have such great mentors and such great people teaching us how to be.
Oh, Jack.
So what I have to say is that we live very close to the city. We have such easy access to people who are living very similar situations. No matter who you are in this cast, we each have some connection to someone who have these real emotions, these real feelings, and we have learned throughout our experiences, whether that be a death in the family or somebody getting married, these great experiences that just affect us and make us change through our development has really helped us to shape our characters. I play like 6 characters in the show, and each of them have very different stories. And it's cool to be able to take whatever you learn from the outside and just bring it on stage and just leave it there and leave whatever tension was from that experience and just let it go. And I really appreciate everyone in this cast for doing that and making these sacrifices.
Becoming Angel was kind of a roller coaster of an experience. Each time I thought I had reached my full Angel potential, there was always more. You know, the first few rehearsals when my heels first came and I was wearing those and jeans and a t-shirt every day, I was like, wow, like I'm so Angel right now. And you know, each component and each different scene we did, and as costumes came in and stuff like that, I found out more things about myself and found out more things about Angel, and it helped Angel and I connect on a deeper level. I think also the love between Angel and Collins, Andy, that was, in the beginning, it same with that, it seemed like we had reached, you know, the full, you know, potential of that, and each time that we did it, all the way up until, you know, this past week, I think that it's become a lot more real, and these characters have set in a lot, and I feel like when we were doing our dress rehearsals and stuff, it was not so much us playing these characters, but we almost became them for the 2.5 hours that we did it on stage, and I think that was, it was a new experience for me. I've never experienced something like that. It's my first show.
But it was a great experience, and even though sometimes difficult and it seemed crazy, it was really amazing.
So yeah, my great uncle, my grandma explained, he was gay. He was an artist in the city. He died of AIDS about over 20 years ago. I never met him, but my family's love of him, he was so influential to my family. His death actually, when my mom got the call that he had died, she decided to have my sister and then have me because of his influence. And so, like, being in the show, listening to all of the lyrics and seeing the experiences of the characters, I never got to meet this amazing person, but it helped me feel like I was getting more close to him. Like, there's a line in La Vie Boheme that says, to people living with not dying from disease. That was a really, really powerful line for me because I know that he used to say that a lot. He would say, hi, I'm living with AIDS. He wouldn't say I have AIDS. He wouldn't say I'm dying of AIDS. He would always say that, and I think that was a really powerful message. And hearing that and other lines like that, I felt really brought me closer to the emotion and the story and the experiences of these people.
Okay, so in preparation for the performance itself, so let's say for, how difficult was it for you to, let's say, practice certain numbers such as like the big songs, like, let's say for Roger, One Son Glory, or any of this. So do you generally like to say, like, refer to the recordings of like the original Broadway cast or the final 2008 performance, or maybe even the movie version sometime?
Well, to answer one of your questions, before I did this show, I listened to the movie recording, and everyone hated me for that. And so I switched to Broadway. It's much better. So for me, it was a really daunting task when I opened the script for the first time. So many songs I was actually going to have to sing. When I got into rehearsal, I really didn't know what I was getting into. Sorry. And so I went home every day. We'd get out of rehearsal at like 5:30ish. I'd get home by 6 o'clock, and I've got a little like separate little house in my backyard. I'd go back there for an hour, and I would just sing the music. I'd put on the headphones, and I'd just switch act one, act two every day, or I'd see what song we're gonna do the next day. So it was a lot of time, and it was a really, really fun part of the experience because we got to work on it together on stage, but being alone in that room in my backyard and just getting to spend time focusing on maybe one song for a whole hour and just thinking about what it really meant to my character was how I really learned who Mark was. He was singing, Halloween over and over again and seeing, I'm singing about each of these characters, what they mean to me, singing it by myself for that hour every day when I should have probably been doing homework or doing college applications. Sorry, Mom, and Mr. Brown. I did miss it. Was really when I learned about my character, when I got to focus on the songs in depth and really think about what they meant to me.
I think I had a really interesting and really awesome experience with Ren in that I've been listening to it since I was really little. It's the soundtrack that we used to put on for long car rides when I was little. So I've known all of the words, not the meanings, but all of the words to Ren since I was about that big. And so I think that so I've always listened to the original Broadway recording because that's always what we had. Sorry, Colin. Sorry. I think that the most special part of this was seeing something that had always been such a big part of like myself and like inside me, and then like watching the people that I care about so much like bring that to life was like the coolest experience. So I got to be really lucky in that way.
Okay, so like night. Hello. You're loud. Yes. Hello. Okay, like night only. I've had a lot of. I've been seasons of. I don't know what I'm doing. Very loud. Okay, so I've been like singing Seasons of Love forever, and it was just like a song, and each like word was the word. And then when I started, shut up, I have a point. And then when I got onto the when night we got into the room, the band room, and we were singing like with the cast, like, and going through the rehearsal process. I started to understand what it meant, and it was a great experience to be able to show that to you and express how we felt.
So typically, I'm not really the kind of person that connects easily with roles. And last year I was in Les Mis and it was wonderful. But like being in Rent and like hearing all the music and just hearing like instead of like just hearing words, like I also like you really hear like the meaning behind those words. So Miss Tracy always says during Will I, he just gets really emotional, and like I didn't really understand why until I really like was on stage and I heard it and it just totally connected with me and I understood. And also like with one of my voicemails, like it's a really hard role for me to step into because I'm just not really like that. And the second that you connect with that role, it's like you're totally not yourself anymore, you're just that character. And I think it's a really magical feeling to connect that well, be in that role.
So more on the choreography side of things. Our choreographer Lori, who I don't think is here tonight. In my song Today for You, when we started choreographing that, it was scary. She showed me everything I had to do, and I was like, what? It was terrifying. And I think that as I practiced it more and as I really stepped into it, I think each time I did it with more emotion, and each time it helped me connect with Angel. That, you know, even still to this day, I think that even tomorrow's show, you know, there's always new parts to it, and each time I do it, I almost discover something new about it. And, you know, from the first time that I did it, when I remember the first time I did it, I did not even open my mouth to sing. I was out of breath. I just tried to dance. It was very difficult. To even yesterday, I think even yesterday to today, there was a lot more of Angel in it, and that's also, as Olivia was saying, it's a really magical feeling. It's because it's really not you, it's your character in that role. It's kind of rushing through you, and as you're doing it, it's not you saying, okay, I have to do this next, I have to do this next. It's almost like the spirit of that character takes control of you, and it's what it wants you to do, and it just feels really right, and it's really amazing.
Okay, so in terms of preparation, I'm not gonna lie, for a very large portion of my life, which is not that long, 4 years swear, that's great. Anyway, I never really thought that I would play this role, so I listened to those songs all the time. I've always loved Friend. Then, as soon as I found out I got the part, I stopped listening to it altogether because I am a paranoid person who does not want to copy what's been done before. I wanted to try and find something new and see what I could discover with this character who's just an immensely fun and complicated person. That's always kind of what I've been taught too from Nancy Ray, a professional instructor for the singing actor. To avoid cast recordings like the plague, but I mean, of course, it doesn't work for everybody. Especially if you want to keep the integrity of the show and you want to keep the original life flowing through it. I just personally wanted to see what I could find by myself, and I think that was really fun. And of course, learning music, I can read music maybe like this much, so that was a fun time.
So one last question, and then I think we'll let you go. I was going to ask a question, but Mr. Graziano, I'll let you go. Right? I don't even think this is even, so just shout it out.
I'll try. Can you hear? I just wanted to thank all of you, because some of you I don't know, and some of you I've known a very long time, and you've changed a lot over the years. And I mean, it's shocking sometimes to see, I've taught some of these kids for a long time, it's shocking to see how much you've changed and how much you've grown. And I just can't imagine what it's going to be like seeing you in 10 years from now, how far you're going to be gone from here. So, not here, but to see how far you're going to progress. And just to thank you all again.
You may have closer, the amazing.
I know you're kind of wrapping up. I don't get out much. I've never seen Ren. You guys, this is the best production I've seen of it. I wouldn't want to see it. Thank you. Really, really hit home. Thank you very much.
Oh, question. This is done. So, Ms. Feliz Martinez, your daughter wants to ask a question?
No, I do.
Oh, you do.
So, sorry. So as some of you heard today, I distinctly remember the original production. Saw it multiple times. You know, when it first came out, I was maybe a couple of years ago, older than you guys, not younger. Anyway, so here I am, and I'm thinking about this, and I wanted to say thank you for reminding me how much I love this show, one. And two, I remember when I saw it, I had friends who had just recently come out. You know, the world was a different place, and I wonder, when I first saw this musical, the thing that stuck the most in my head, that verse, forget, regret, for a life, or life is worth miss. Like, I would really like to know what lyric you're gonna take away from this production. Like, what's gonna be that life lesson? Because I know that for me, this was a seminal experience for me when I was just a little older than you guys. So I'm kind of wondering what it's gonna be like for you.
And this is done, so yeah, Jack.
So one lyric I think is "I'll Cover You." That's the song that Andy and I sing, and then Andy sings the reprise version at my funeral. And when I first started listening to the soundtrack, it just was all kind of music. It, really wasn't, it didn't have much significance to me, but as we've done it so much, I've found that, a big part of the show is, people being with, covering other people and being with them in their times of need unconditionally, and how it is with, all of the people involved in the, in our cast in real life, and then also in, the group of friends that in Happy New Year talks about it, how we're such a, a close pack of friends. And I think that a big part of this show and a big part of life in general is, sticking with people no matter what's happening. And, people are dying. It's, you never know what day is, you have to live every day like it's your last. And, being around the people that you love unconditionally is really important.
A lot of the time in rehearsal, Mr. AC would talk about the main lyric of the show, which is "No Day But Today." And the thing is, I see it as really the through line through the show. You see all these different characters go through their own personal journeys and have each of them their own personal experiences, and like something that really is heart-wrenching, that you see people die, you see people just come back to life, and like there is such a it gives almost hope to everything that goes on through the story. There's such a loss of hope, especially once Angel dies and pretty much all of the relationships crumble. And that one lyric just says that the only time that we have is now. Why waste it? Why let it go? And I think it's the most important one in the show because it gives everyone here a reason to live, a reason to love, and a reason to learn. And I'm just grateful for that.
Yes. This is dead, so go ahead.
Oh, my mic is on.
You're almost.
Oh, wow. How is it?
Okay. So there are a few lyrics that maybe don't ring true in everybody's lives or even mine that just really stuck with me and still stick with me. I really, really love the song in the show.
Halloween. I really love that song, Mark's song, because I just think it's really impactful when you think about. Okay, I'm going to start a little further back here because what I'm about to say might not make sense. Okay, so I never really understood, and I always made fun of this, the fact that Act 1 entirely takes place in one day, and then Act 2, which is shorter than Act 1, somehow gets through an entire year. Okay, but I think the song Halloween really puts that together for me, and it really helped the show click for me because that one day was so important, and it was the catalyst for every single thing that happened later in that year, and for some, and how he's talking about years left on the cutting room floor of memory, how you don't remember, I'm going to say most of your life, you only remember the really impactful moments, and I think that just kind of hit home because I just started thinking about what am I going to remember, what's going to be important. I don't know. I just like that one a lot.
And I think that's such a very thoughtful thing. What I really love about this opportunity for you to hear, they're incredibly talented. They sang beautifully tonight. Their acting was authentic. But then to have a chance to listen to them speak about this process and what they got out of what Mr. AC has led them through is just incredibly phenomenal. So I thank you so much for your performance tonight, first of all, and second of all, for coming out here and bearing